So it's going to be a few days before we head up to the cabin again. So I've been really wanting to make a copper sign to go on the outside. Nothing too elaborate. It's just going to say established 2021, the year the cabin was built. And it's a technique you don't see very often. It's called hydroforming. Use high pressure and rubber to squeeze copper out into a mold. But first we had to make the mold or the template out of wood. So that's what we're going to do here now. So let's see how it goes. So this is the font and the text we're using. And ideally, in a perfect world, I would have printed this out mirrored because I had to glue it on and cut it from this face. But trying to print this out mirrored on the computer brought me right to the brink of sanity. So I gave up, and I'm actually going to glue it on upside down. And I think with the Mod Podge, the color will show through enough for me to cut it on the bandsaw. I got to keep it as small as possible. You see these four corners, that's the actual size that the finished sign is going to be. Then the outside the mold box is going to be 2 inches thick. It's going to take a lot of pressure. I'm going to be using a 20-ton press, and so it's going to be built pretty strong. This is 3/4 inch MDF. So I think I'm going to take the palm sander with these and actually thin them down a little bit. The glue is dry now, they're all stuck on there. I'll come back in with the Dremel tool and round those edges over. I didn't realize it, but I took this 2 down a little thin with the palm sander. Got a little carried away. The more work I put into this, the less confident I get. But I'm going to proceed on. Now to glue these trim pieces on. You see they have a little round over right here, and that'll hopefully round over the edge of the copper and the aluminum. So I've got this big old sheet of copper. I think it was a backsplash or something out of the kitchen. I picked it up years ago for another project I was working on. But somebody's taken a hammer and dimpled it all, but they're not too deep. So this is what I'm going to use to try to make the sign. I've actually taken a little hammer, put it on the anvil, and kind of flattened some of these little dimples out. And this sheet here, I cleaned up both sides. So what happens, you've got the mold right here, and it's mirrored and 3-dimensional. It sticks up about 1/8 of an inch. You drop in your piece of copper, then you put in the rubber. I think it will probably do something like that. And this piece will go in there. Then we'll put the 20-ton press right here. And in theory, that rubber should deform and push on the copper, and the copper should deform and form around the letters that are in the bottom. Okay, so we're in at the big shop. We're at the press, the 20-ton press. Like I mentioned earlier, that's going to be bare minimal what we need for this to work. So we're going to drop it in. We can get our rubber in there. So steel plate on top of that. Okay, so we're just going to max this press out.
Was that split in the middle there before?
Here?
No, down below.
Here?
Yeah.
No, that's new. let's release it and see what we got.
This is something.
It may have worked. Not sure yet. Check that out. They're not as vivid as I would have hoped, but as a wise man once said, never accept failure, just lower your expectations. So you can see right here, our mold did get some damage on the last time, so it's not going to be long with us, I don't think. Oh, there's nothing scarier than maxing out a press. You know, when the welds breaks, it's going to go off like a gunshot and kill us both. I was just a boy when I built this.
Thanks for telling me.
Just for an idea how much pressure it is, that's 1.5 inch square solid stock. It's actually crimping it right down into this 5/16 plate steel and buckle on that. So that's a lot of pressure. There we go. That one might be a little crisper. Maybe we'll make counterfeit license plates on the side. Gotta be a market for that. So it's Friday afternoon here at the house. We're just heading up to the cabin here now. Just wanted to give you guys an idea of what the snow level is like here at the house. Now we're going to head about 100 kilometers straight north. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Ooh, let it shine, let it shine. So we just got up to the cabin. There's a little bit more snow than we were expecting. So I gotta switch out to my boots and clear the driveway before we can back in there. I don't know how well this GoPro is recording in the dark. It's the first time I think we've ever tried using it. So we had to pull back the road and park there. I gotta walk up the road and down to the shed. So that's one thing that's always a pain about having a cabin so far from home, is the big snowbanks. If you leave them for a few days or a couple weeks and you're not up here, they freeze solid just like icebergs. Then the snowblower won't penetrate them anymore. 8 inches of snow here or so. Quite pretty though. So the shed light just turned on. Just noticed there's brand new fresh grouse tracks walk down by the corner of the shed. Down there, and I thought I just heard wings flapping somewhere. Nope, the end right there. Must have took off. Lock open. I don't know if it gets any prettier than that. That was chilly. So I know you guys are looking for some picturesque kindling stacked up, newspaper curled underneath it, lighting the fire, maybe birch bark or some flint and steel, getting the fire going. But that's not the case. When you burn wood every day of your life, you get a fire going as quick as you can, with whatever you can. It's cold, but you get this going. So you reach for the first flammable liquid you come to, hand sanitizer. Check that out. That's what you clean your hands with every day. Actually, I forgot a step. I gotta light the fridge before I can finish snow blowing. Propane's turned on, so I just gotta take off the bottom and turn the gas on and click the clicker. Fridge is putting on a show for the camera. That's the first time since we've had it that it's ever lit with the first click. I'm not complaining. So it's starting to get pretty comfortable in here. We got it up to what? 16-ish degrees. So with the cabin sitting cold for so long, all the furniture and everything's all freezing. It'll take most of tonight for the cabin to actually warm completely up. So we got these signs all buffed up with the wire wheel and the drill. And it won't take long, they'll oxidize back and start to look aged, probably within a couple days. So one's gonna go right above the door right here centered, and the other one's gonna go in behind the wood stove. So this ladder's a death trap. When we were building our workshop at home, Kylie actually fell down through this ladder. Really warm compared to last night. So we have these little rounded head galvanized wood siding nails that we're gonna use. I tried finding copper nails, but couldn't find them locally. So these will have to work.
Is it the ones on the trim and the outhouse and stuff?
Yeah, on the cabin here too.
Yeah.
So when we got here last night, the roof was all covered in snow. But today with the extra warmth outside and the fire going inside, it let go with a bang. Come down, it all ends out over the edge of the hill right here. But when you're inside, it sounds like the world's ending when that lets go. Kylie would like people to notice that she's got a new toque on.
What was wrong with this one?
I'm thinking a copper backsplash right across the top of this mantle would look good. I think back in the day they used to have heat shields like that behind lamps on walls. So we were just about getting ready to go to bed. I realized that our fridge wasn't working. We ran out of propane, so I have to switch propane tanks. One of the pains about being off grid. Not a big deal. One of the jobs I have to do next year is tidy this up, make it some sort of rack to hold the propane tanks. I don't know, I might switch to the big 100-pound tanks. It's not very graceful. Our ancestors built cabins to escape the elements, for shelter from the wild, for protection as they built a better life. Now we build cabins to escape mentally from the crazy world we've created. A quiet place to remember the world is not all concrete, steel, and electronics. So every time we were at the cabin, we like to make some small improvement, an investment into this place that gives us peace and happiness. Every project at the cabin is a building block in the wall that keeps back all the negativity in the world. And I wish that all of you find your cabin, your sanctuary of happiness.